Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Soul Illumination reading for the sign of Aquarius. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. And that's exactly what we're going to be looking at in today's reading, Aquarius. We're going to be looking at what your soul would most like you to know at this time so that you can allow a level of abundance or soul growth that's looking to come in for you right now. Now, we are going to be taking a look at a block or a challenge that you might be facing, get advice from Spirit, and then we're going to identify that area of abundance that's looking to come in. Now, right off the bat, we're looking at what you're bringing to this reading here, Aquarius, and please keep in mind this is a general reading, so only take what resonates. Now, we do have Ace of Cups and Queen of Cups. Beautiful energy. For many of you, you may be really reconnecting to the self right now, meaning you're really being able to see yourself, reconnect to your soul. It's really, when the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups come in like this is like reconnecting to your truest essence, reconnecting to the energy of love as well, because that's really what the cups represent, our emotions, but they also represent, especially the Ace of Cups, this is a new connection to love. And for some of you, you may be sitting in, this is obviously a general reading, so please, again, only take what resonates, but this could represent a mother and a child. So for some of you, there could be becoming a new parent. But what I'm seeing more here than anything is that there's a reconnection to the self. There's a reconnection to this feeling of emotional connection to your life experience. And with the Queen of Cups, there's an element of self-care that comes in around that as well. There's a protection of that cup, a protection of what's in that cup, which are your needs, your unique dreams and hopes, all the things that allow you in their pursuit or fulfillment of to emotionally connect to your life experience. Now, in your external environment, this is what Spirit is really highlighting for you. This is what your soul is illuminating for you at this time, is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups this can be where we went through a very emotionally difficult time, where there was something that emotionally was disappointing to us. The Three of Cups, or the Five of Cups, can also represent the loss of community, friendship, any place that we felt like we were able to be ourselves or celebrate with others. And this individual, you can see, is staring at those three cups that have been spilled. And yet there's the two cups directly behind him that are still upright. And there's always a sense here that, yes, something may have happened that was emotionally disappointing or emotionally upsetting, but there's still others around you. There's still support there for you. There's still someone else who has your back that you can turn to. And so there may be at this time a chance for you, especially with reconnecting to the self, reconnecting to self-love and the love that you also can give. There's a sense of possibly facing a difficult time in the past and getting ready to kind of go back out there and maybe connect in a new way. There's a sense here of kind of the walls coming down. Now, your main underlying energy is the Seven of Swords, underscored by the Eight of Cups and the Knight of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords card really represents a card of avoidance. This is where we're sitting there not really wanting to face something. You can see this individual looks like he's trying to get away with something, like he's trying to steal something. But this can be where we don't want to have that difficult conversation. We don't want to face something. And for many of you, with the Eight of Cups and the Knight of Swords is very prominent right here. The Eight of Cups represents walking away from something that no longer emotionally fulfills us. It's where we realize we've poured our time and energy into something and we're no longer getting a return on our investment. And it's time to walk away. And yet, I think for many of you, there's a sense here of having to walk away from something that perhaps was on the heels of either someone sharing a truth. This Knight of Swords can be someone who's coming in to deliver information or news. It can also be where someone's just kind of sharing a harsh truth, or you learned something very quickly. Somebody came in and said, "You're fired." Somebody came in and said, "I love you." Somebody came in and said, "We're pregnant." Something along those lines. And it really highlighted an aspect of your life experience where it was time to walk away. Now, this could literally be where someone came in and kind of blindsided you and said, hey, the company is restructuring and there's no longer a role for you here. And you realize, oh my gosh, it's time for me I have to walk away from that. And there's an avoidance. Especially with the Eight of Cups being cups, and this is an emotional aspect, and the swords over here, this is the mental side to your experience. Now, Aquarius, you're very good in the mental plane. That is your realm. You can go up into the ethers and really connect to what I like to kind of consider as our universal genius. And then somehow you were able to kind of bring that back down to earth for the goodness through your water-bearing self, to bring that down to nourish innovation and exploration and initiation in our earthly plane. But I think for many of you, there's been kind of an avoidance of something that's happened in the past. And it's directly connected to the Five of Cups here. There's something where you had to walk away from something based on a truth shared. And it's almost like you're sitting in your head, and you know you have to face it to finally get it, to finally allow yourself to move on. There's a sense you're finally just moving on from something, and yet you don't want to. You don't want to go into your feels. You don't want to feel the pain, because then you have to face this feeling. You have to face what's disappointing. You have to face where somebody might have turned their back on you at some point, or a workplace situation didn't work out, or you had to, a news came in and your whole life changed around that. This could literally be where somebody says, I want a divorce. Somebody says, it's time for us to move, something along those lines. But there is something here where there is a feeling of avoiding, really facing perhaps a disappointing experience in the past. And with the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups, though, it's showing that you're getting ready. You're sitting there in a state of emotional connection. There's with the aces, this is always the start of something new. So there is something here where it's almost like you're getting a jump start in the emotional plane of okay, I feel it. I understand the importance of my own emotional self, of my needs, of my dreams. I'm in a state now to finally nurture those and be aware of them and connect to them. But often when we do that, it's almost like we have to kind of clear out the gunk of the past pain. And that's what's really coming through here, Aquarius, to be dealt with at this time. And this could also be for some of you. I think there could be an avoidance of wanting to share something that you want to walk away from. That could also be very prominent here, where you're kind of dancing around the truth, where it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to grow. It's time for you to expand. It's time something is no longer emotionally fulfilling, and yet there's an avoidance of sharing that. So this could be where it's time to move. It's time to change a job. It's time to leave a current relationship, and yet you don't want to face that because you know that either A, something in the past when you've shared that kind of knowledge, it became a disappointing experience, or B, that it's going to perhaps highlight where in your emotional realm something is going to have to be released. Okay, so let's go. Oops. Actually, no, didn't realize I had dropped a card there when I started to shuffle. So let's reshuffle here with all the cards in the deck. And now we're going to take a look at the blocker challenge, advice from spirit, and then we're looking at what is the level of abundance or spiritual growth that really wants to come in for you at this time. Okay, so we have the Five of Cups again. So yes, very prominent. This is your main challenge and focal point here. So we have the Five of Cups. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have strength as your heart of your reading and the advice from spirit. And then we have Three Pentacles and death. Very interesting. So let's get right into this with the Three of Swords. Yeah, I knew the Three of Swords was kind of somewhere underneath the surface here. The Three of Swords is the pain of the past. These are the past wounds that we've suffered, whether they're through someone telling us that we weren't good enough at some point, or whether this is actually just through direct experience of us failing at something. But these are the things that kind of haunt us. They haunt us in the mental plane, and then they go down and they stab us in the heart in our emotional plane. And it really shows how much it really is a good depiction of how our thoughts can actually change and alter our feelings, or how we are currently, what we are feeling even in the moment. We could be experiencing something joyful, and yet thoughts of the past are overshadowing that and causing us to feel pain instead of just enjoying the moment. Now, Five of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles being your biggest your block or your challenge here right now. There is something that's been disappointing, and it literally could be the loss of a sense of community, the loss of a sense of feeling like you have those to celebrate with. But there's also a sense here around with the Queen of Pentacles around a disappointment with something that you have maybe long nurtured. There could be a disappointment with maybe you were nurturing a home and a family, and something happened and you know it's time to walk away from that. You could have been nurturing a job, a position, a level of expertise and growth in your career path, and yet it has led to something that is not emotionally supportive of you at this time, and you realize that you have to share with your boss that it's time to move on or it's time to let go of that career path. This could be where maybe you were building your own business. This could even be where maybe you were, the Queen of Pentacles can sometimes be the individual who is a parent, is a mother. Maybe there's a disappointment around, becoming a parent. Maybe you wanted to become a parent, and there's something here now where you realize, I have to tell someone in my life. This could be a very, kind of what I'm seeing come through here is, this would be a very clear reading for someone who maybe was in a committed relationship, and the other person was like, I don't want to have kids, and you're like, I'm cool with that. And then suddenly 5 years into the relationship, all of a sudden your clock starts ticking and you realize, I have so much love to give. I want to be a parent. I really want this to happen. And I know that if I stay in this relationship with a person who doesn't want to have kids, that's not going to take care of my needs. That's not going to be emotionally fulfilling. And I want to bring this into my life experience. It could be something like that. Now, this could also be, if it's not directly pertaining to that very specific scenario, this could be where you've been working and working and working on something, and suddenly now you're reconnecting with your truest self again, with love. This is like realizing you have so much love to give. You're like, your cup is overflowing, you're honoring it, you're seeing it, and you realize, I don't want to keep giving to something in my life, that I have so much love to give, but I don't want to give it to this, whatever you are nurturing. I no longer want to give it to this because I know it's not going to give me a return on my investment. This would be like you've been living in the same house for 35 years and you're like, I am reconnecting to myself. I see the needs that I have. I really want to give, whatever it is. I'm reconnecting to my adventurous soul and I want to travel the world, or I want to reconnect with my family, but I don't want to do it in this house because this house no longer suits the person I am. And I know it's time for me to finally just face the facts and realize, yes, even though I've been dedicated to making this home a home and all of that, it's no longer emotionally fulfilling and maybe even a little disappointing. This is the Five of Cups coming up here. This is your big spotlight. Your soul is like, look at the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is where you feel disappointed on an emotional level right now, where you feel like there was a level of support that is no longer there, or where you feel like you wanted to be celebrated by others or with others, and that is no longer present in your life. There is a big sense around something coming through here where there's a disappointment around either wanting to become a parent, or a disappointment around putting time and energy towards something that now is time to walk away from. And yet with Strength at the heart of your reading, this is what your soul is saying. It's time for you to really be strong. Have courage. When we get to this point, when we reconnect to our most authentic self, when we reconnect to our spiritual self, our needs, our dreams, our wants again, that emotional connection to our life, it does take strength to finally say, I am going to walk away from something that no longer emotionally fulfills me. I may have put time and energy into something, and at one point, maybe it was fulfilling. Maybe those cups were upright. And we go through different phases in our life. And it doesn't, for some of you, you could be just leaving high school and going into college. And there's a sense of, but I spent so much time really having great friendships, or I spent so much time, working on my athletic career, and now I'm going to college and I'm not actually going to even use the sports program I was so dedicated to. There's something kind of like that. But there's a realization there's a change happening. And it's time to have the strength to realize that there is a potential for growth here, because we have the Three of Pentacles and Death. So there's definitely a transformation happening at a very fundamental level for you, Aquarius. You literally are releasing an old version of the self and you are stepping into a new. With the Three of Pentacles, this really speaks to building with a new eye to the future. The Three of Pentacles is, what do you want to build and who do you want to build it with? There's a sense of collaboration. There's a sense of community that can come in. There's also a sense of people coming in each with their own skill set, with their own pentacle, and that there could be the potential for others to come in and help you build a future vision. But this could also be, where you just are ready to commit to leveling up in some aspect of your experience. And with Death coming in as your final card, this is saying it's time to release what's here. Whatever this Five of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles was. I mean, this could even be where, you're finally releasing the fact that you aren't, you're never going to become a parent. I mean, it's terrible to say that, but there could be something around that where you're like, you realize I maybe don't actually want to be a parent, or there's something, my life has changed and this is not coming in for me. Or it could be something where, again, maybe you were a parent for some period of time and now your life has changed where everybody is, maybe you're the empty nester at this point and you realize, okay, this was wonderful at this time, but now I feel like I'm the odd man out. Now I feel like, what used to be a happy, bright home filled with children is now the thing that's isolating me from the people I really want to connect with. There's a disappointment now around, when I look at my house and go through my day-to-day activities, it's not what I was what I imagined down the line. And now I need to have a new vision for the future. So there's a sense here of rebuilding, of changing the future vision, but changing it now in a way that is directly tied to your reconnection to the self, who you are now, what you love about yourself now, what you love in life. There's this beautiful chance to, again, emotionally reconnect to your whole life experience. And I think to finally put to bed a past disappointment, or finally face something where it's time to walk away from something that's no longer emotionally fulfilling. And it's time also to face, I think, that the pain of the past that's waiting to be released, waiting to be here with Death, cut away and transformed into something new. Now I'm going to pull some clarifiers here to dive a little deeper. Definitely going to clarify the Five of Cups. So we're going to see what story wants to come out there. We have the Ace of Coins. Yeah, there's something here around the disappointment around an opportunity. Maybe it was an opportunity lost, possibly. Maybe this could be like where you went in with a business partner and started a business, and it started out great, and suddenly you realize it never went anywhere. Whew, okay, so we got a few cards jumping out. We have the Emperor, and we have the Seven of Wands. Okay. Yeah, there's a sense with the Emperor. The Emperor is, just what it sounds. It's the person who's in charge, someone who really stands their ground. And there may have been something here for some of you, especially with the Seven of Wands, where this is a kind of a defensive card. It's a card of defending your decision to take action. And I think for many of you, there was something here, possibly an opportunity. Now, the Emperor harnesses the energy of Aries, a little bit of Taurus. Sometimes I see Scorpio in there too, which is interesting. But there was a chance to kind of, I think, level up in your experience. There's a chance to kind of, I get the feeling more for some of you that there is an opportunity here at this point to level up and kind of take true authoritative action in your life. And you want to defend that. You want to come from that place of, this is what I want to have happen. This is what I want to build with this this pentacle. And yet I think there's a fear of actually taking action and ownership on it because of where something was disappointing in the past. So there's this sense of like, I want to keep trying. I want to initiate something, because the Emperor is masculine energy. It is initiating energy. There's a sense here of really wanting to initiate something, or to really take the lead, or really take ownership again of your life experience and defending that. And I think, though, there's something here around maybe where you tried to do that in the past and it might not have worked out. So let's see what this Queen of Pentacles is coming in as. This can also be where you tried to initiate something and it didn't work out, and yet you're still trying to defend doing it. So because the Ace of Pentacles is what the Queen of Pentacles holds. So there's a sense here of where you might have started this could be like where you started at a business, or started, working in a career path, in a career field, and you were like, okay, this is it. This is where I'm going to be. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm with the company I've always wanted to be. And now it's 15 years later, and you're like, everybody's like, dude, like, you're way underpaid. You could be working anyplace else. You're always complaining about where you work. And you're like, nope, this was my dream job. This was going to be it. This was like the end all to be all. I was going to work here for 35 years and retire. And it's like, but buddy, it's no longer fulfilling to you. In fact, there's probably a level of disappointment you're not facing. I think that's what it is. There's a level of disappointment coming through. Maybe you thought you were going to have like a sense of workplace community, and that never came in. Or you thought others were going to celebrate you for the effort you put into building a business, and it just never became what you were hoping. Or you thought, you had it like that with your boss. There's something like that where it's coming through, and it's like something in your life is no longer, it's disappointing on some level, and you're continuing to defend it. Oh, interesting. There's the Queen of Coins. Okay, so the Queen of Coins is clarifying the Queen of Coins with the Hermit. Now, the Hermit is when we go within. There's a sense of kind of soul seeking, but it's also one where we kind of pull ourselves back from the world, where we have to kind of do it alone. And with the Queen of Coins, there's a sense here where maybe you felt a little isolated in your, because Queen of Coins focuses her energy on something. I mean, this could almost be where, you were the stay-at-home parent, and you just focused on making sure that your kids had the best life possible. And then all of a sudden you're an empty nester, all the kids move on, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm all alone. Like, I've isolated myself. I maybe haven't been hanging out with I didn't make time for friends or community. I didn't make time for the things that I always wanted to do. And there's this realization of like, oh my gosh, who am I now without that? And maybe it's time now to address where maybe I need to shift my focus now. But this can also be too where maybe you're nurturing something that was isolating, kind of doing something behind the scenes, and it's saying it's time now. You learned something very, with the Hermit, you learned something very key to who you are that makes you unique, and the light that you shine out into the world. And I think now there's a chance to maybe utilize that in a new way. But there is a sense here of having to release something where you've kind of had a hard line around a pentacle. This could even be someone in your life who's, sometimes the energy isn't pertaining specifically to you. It could be pertaining to a person in your life that you're directly connected with. This could be where someone is trying to initiate something or doesn't want to initiate something, vice versa, and is trying to defend why it's not the right time to do this, or why it is the right time to do this, and you might not be on the same page with that person. Let's see with Strength, though. So we have Devil coming up with Strength. And the Devil is, so with the Strength and Devil, this is where the Devil is asking you, or the Strength card is asking you, can you have the strength to cut the chains that you are currently holding yourself back by? The Devil is never an external force to us. It is us, ourself, holding ourselves back to something. This is where we tell ourselves, I can't do that because I can't initiate this change. this would be like saying, like, I can't move houses because, well, what if the kids want to come back someday? And it's like, no, this is about taking care of you and your needs and the things that you would like. Or this would be like saying, I can't walk away from the job because I've worked there for 15 years. So I have to work there another 15 before I can retire. And it's like, no, dude, you can go out there again. And nowadays people don't have to stay at a job for 30 years. Some people sometimes change career paths, multiple times in their life experience. Because here we have the Page of Coins coming in, and there's this beautiful energy of your soul saying it's time to go out there and be curious. This Ace of Pentacles, like that was here with the Emperor, there's a sense of trying to control something, and it's saying what you've been trying to control has not brought you joy. In fact, it's brought you disappointment. So now it's time to go out there and be curious as to what else you can do with that pentacle. This would be like saying, you know what? I think it's time for me to sell that business I built because to be truthful, it's no longer, it has been a disappointing experience, or it's no longer fulfilling for me. It's now just become a stress. And so I'm going to sell the company, and I'm going to see what else I can do with that money, or what else I can do with my time. Because that's what the Page of Pentacles asks you to do, to get curious, to go out there, to learn through direct experience, to gain more information about what you can do with this pentacle. And there's something here around the releasing of something that you've long nurtured around that pentacle. So it's saying, like, yeah, you nurtured that career path, but your skill set could be useful now in a different way. Yeah, you did. You nurtured your children and you nurtured the home, but now maybe you can sell the house and move closer to the children. Or maybe you could, sell the house and, live a nomadic lifestyle and go on the adventures you never did when you were focusing solely on raising your children. There's something around that here where it's saying it's time to release something you've, kind of held on to, and it's time to go out there and get curious and to release yourself from whatever is holding you back. And whatever is holding you back is directly tied to the Three of Swords and the Five of Cups. Pain and wounding around, I think, maybe not authentically connecting with others, pain and wounding around not feeling like you have a community or a tribe, something along that line. So with the Three of Pentacles, we have the Four of Coins, the Four of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. So this is a really interesting dynamic here. So we go from the 3 to the 4 to the 5. There is almost a projection into the future of, if I give into building something new, if I give into a new vision for my future, then automatically it's going to lead me to the Five of Pentacles, which is me being left out in the cold. And this is always an interesting progression, because for the Three of Pentacles is such beautiful energy. It's initiation energy, it's collaboration. So people are coming together and they're excited for this future vision. And yet the next card that comes up as we move through the deck is the Four of Coins. And the Four of Pentacles speaks to us gaining that certain level of physical stability, but then kind of holding it. There's a sense of this miserly touch coming in where we don't want to invest. We're afraid to take what little we've gotten as a return, because we're afraid that if we invest it, we're going to end up in the Five of Pentacles, which is the next card, which is then loss, or being left out in the cold, not having the support. And so there's a sense here of there is a projection for you around building that you will be left out in the cold. This can tie back to a poverty mindset where you feel like every time you try to initiate something, you lose, or you're left out, or people turn their back on you, because the Five of Pentacles can really speak to that, like not having support in the physical plane of your experience. And yet there's a sense here that if you can really deal with the wounding and have the strength to release something, almost transmute something you've long worked on and nurtured because it's time, it's no longer fulfilling for you, that if you can really face also this kind of the anticipation of a loss, or the anticipation of someone turning their back on you, that you have the opportunity to kind of transmute something you've worked on and make it something new, something that is more in alignment with what you are currently connecting to in the self, with the love that you want to give and share with others, and the self-nourishment you're in the process of giving to yourself. So we have Death coming in, and we have the High Priestess clarifying that. I love it. It says, you know what it's time to, what needs to die. You know what needs to be released. And that's the hardest thing. When the high priestess comes in, it's often that question of like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what has to be released. And yet when that card comes in, it says, you know, you do know. Deep within, you know. And deep within, you know the choice that has to be made. Because then we have the Fool and the Eight of Coins, which is beautiful energy. The Fool is jumping into the new. It is the zero, the number zero, or the concept of zero in the tarot, which means it's wiping the slate clean. And with the Eight of Coins, it's jumping into this beautiful vision of building and perfecting something new for yourself. The Eight of Coins does speak to focused energy as well. It speaks to, this could even be where some of you, again, are taking an old skill set and turning it into something new to say, let's see what I can build on. There's a sense of building on something here. And yet there's a fear at the heart of your reading is strength with the devil. There's a sense here of really needing to be brave to make that change, Aquarius, to break those chains that hold you back, that are directly tied to a poverty mindset, or the feeling that you're going to be left out in the cold, or the feeling that there's going to be financial loss and worry. So we have Two of Coins. Two of Coins is also a card of decisions. This is a card where we're kind of just like, kind of stuck in the balancing mode, right? We're just doing the day-to-day, and like, we know we need to prioritize. We need to make a choice. What are we going to put our time and energy towards? But yet we're kind of like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep I'm going to keep waking up, going to my job and coming home and going to bed and doing it all over again. Even though I know my heart of hearts, it's time for me to walk away from that job or that business or that person or the home. Whatever this is speaking to, there's something coming through that is very much, very like, it's like blaring. It's time to face what is no longer suiting you in your life experience. Now, this, for some of you, you might have already gone through this energy. This could be where maybe you went through this, and now you're able to really see what came about from that and the skill set you've actually been able to advance for yourself. Time is not, we're all at different points in this energy. So there could be a sense where some of you are just hitting this point, you're kind of in the middle point, or you're already have gone through the first part of this and you've taken the risk, you've started to build and collaborate with others, and now you're realizing, wow, I took that leap of faith, and look at how I transmuted what I had worked on into where I am today. There's definitely a sense of that coming through as well. But for those of you who this is really resonating with you right now, there's a sense of change and growth that really wants to come in with a new vision to the future, but you do have to release. You have to be brave enough to release a tie to something that I know with the Queen of Coins, I know you long invested in it. I can feel that pain. You've long invested in something, but it's not working out for you. It's not allowing you to I think authentically connect with others. There's that sense of, I don't have community. I don't have the support. I'm not surrounded by the love that I would love to bring my cup into. There's a sense around that. Okay, so let's go ahead here and see what's come out. Oh, I love it. Surrender your fear of change. Yes, and surrender to your intuition. So it says, surrender your fear of change. And I know, Aquarius, you are a fixed sign. I have a lot of fixed placements in my chart. So I'm a Taurus, sun sign. And so I understand the fixed energy when you have Aquarius in your chart, especially in a prominent position in your chart. It's hard to change, right? It's hard to want to do new things, because there is that level of stability that comes through with the fixed signs. Like, hey, we're going to keep towing the line. We're going to keep things stable and steady. But the only constant in our life is change. And right now there's growth here waiting, an opportunity, collaboration, a fresh start, love, all kinds of things coming in for you here. So it says, and it's about keeping your eye on what you want to build as well with the Eight of Coins. So it says, surrender your fear of change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. And then it says, surrender to your intuition, this is where the High Priestess is coming in. She says, deep within, surrender to what you know. And it says, tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. And that's going to allow you to really see, I think, where it's time to take the leap. It's going to show you the way, as to with the Page of Pentacles, kind of where to take what you're releasing into a new aspect of your life experience. How can you transmute or change what you've worked towards that is no longer fulfilling? How can you change that and use it to start to build towards something that will be more in alignment and fulfilling for where you are now? Okay, but surrender your fear of change, Aquarius. Change is often a great thing, especially when it allows us to get away from disappointing experiences, release ourselves from the chains that bind us. This would be like also saying, well, I committed my time and energy towards this. I can't. I keep hearing that. I can't leave this. I can't do that. And it's saying you can, and there's a lot of joy waiting to come in for you on the other side of this, and an opportunity to really grow something in the physical as well. There's a lot of pentacles coming through here. So I think there's a lot of focus right now for you on the physical, but there's an opportunity to level up. There's an opportunity to go from the 3 to the 8. But you have to make that choice to prioritize first something in the physical. And you have to get past, I think, a poverty mindset around, if I commit to this new dream in the physical, that it's only going to end in ruin or loss. And to kind of get past that 3, 4, 5 expansion, their spread. And then you get to the 6, which is the return on the investment. The 6 of Pentacles reminds us that we will always get a return on what we put in. It might not be immediate, but that's kind of the universal law of harmony and balance. So keep that in mind as kind of that point of faith as you start to walk away from something, that you tell that truth of something that it's time to face what it's time to walk away from. Okay, I will leave it there, Aquarius. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you'd like to book a personal reading to take a look at what your soul would most like you to know at this time, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next Soul Illumination reading. Bye, Aquarius.